when people are given too many things, they just develop such big egos because they have to create this outer persona that tries to match what they've been given, but they didn't earn it in the first place. So they don't have like the internal journey or the internal character that was built from the experience that got them to that place. All right, so I apologize in advance if I come off as like angry or bitter, but see that? I have a university degree, and sometimes people don't even ask or don't get to the point in the conversation to realize that I have this degree. So apparently one of my partner's friends continually like referred to me as a personal trainer, and I guess continually talked about how she has a professional degree. She has the same bachelor's degree as me. She has a bachelor's degree just like me. But she continually, I guess, just mistook me for a personal trainer, which personal trainers can make good money. They can be very successful if they level up in their career field. There's nothing wrong with being a personal trainer, but if she's going to hold the degree to a higher standard, I have that degree, that same degree as her. I don't want to come off too angry or bitter, but the truth is that's how I'm feeling right now. And it's probably going to come off, but I just want to talk about something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Why is it that sometimes, and man, I don't want to make this a gendered thing. So for now, I'll say people. Sometimes people with degrees. Maybe it's specific degrees, maybe it's specific schools that make them feel like they're better than everybody else, but they have such big egos. And here's where it becomes a gendered thing. Who is it easier for to get a degree? A man or a woman? And why? Is it a man because patriarchy? Because men have had advantages in society for so long? I was born in the 90s. All right, my whole life, people have pandered to women. Women have been the teachers that we grew up, that were telling us what to do in school. Women have been the people that we've had to hold doors open, had to give flowers to. And DEI in the last couple of years, up until now, recently, has given them an advantage in the hiring process. And they have the audacity to say that they're oppressed, and yet they've had all this stuff handed to them. When people get in higher positions, when they get a degree that was paid for them, not everybody had their degree paid for them, but some people have. And when they get an advantage in the hiring process and get a really good job, they tend to get a big ego because they didn't have to work as hard as somebody else to get to that position. So I have a few years of serving experience, like serving tables, waiting tables, serving at a restaurant, bartending. And it always, like, people who are very wealthy, men who are very wealthy, who tell me a story about how they worked to get to where they're at, are usually very generous tippers, and they're very humble. It just sticks out in my memory, all these instances when boss babe women who are at a big table full of people are just so rude to the server when something isn't perfect. Even if you apologize, there's no amount of apologizing that you can do. Fuck, man. I'm like battling right now with because I know that I shouldn't be. What is this video even going to be titled, man? I was Googling something before making this video, And what I was Googling was, why do women with degrees have such big egos? And of course, ChatGPT or whatever, Google's like automatic response tells you that it's not necessarily a gendered thing, which I'm open-minded to. I'll explore that possibility that it's not a gendered thing. But somebody said that men see it that way because in this patriarchy, it makes men view women as competitors rather than as potential partners. So they're not as attracted to boss babes. They view them more as like competitors and they're threatened by them. Is there some truth to that? Maybe. But dude, how do you explain the fact that as a server, I walk over to tables with men that are like big shots and they tip well and they're nice to me and they're respectful. And then you go over to a woman who is supposedly a big shot. She's acting like it. And she's like, she's rude. She talks over you. And if you're not like overly nice to her when she's talking over you, she gets pissy and then doesn't tip well. Like, the men are so straightforward. You go over, you take their order, might chat a tiny bit, and they tip you really well because you did a good job. And then the women, it's like they make dumb jokes, they talk over you. I remember this one table, this woman was with maybe a ton of, I don't know, it was just a table full of business people, 10 people. And I remember she was asking me a question and I started to answer the question and then she cut me off and just started talking. And then I tried to answer another question or whatever of hers. And it was so hard to take her order. And I was just kind of standing there. And then she goes on about how she like used to be a server and stuff. I'm like, you used to be a server and you're just... Look, I think, now let's get out of the gendered thing. I think when people are given a lot of power, like they're given a job just because of their gender, or they're given advantages in college just because they're gender, when they're given things too much, this is why I'm leaning right and away from like the Democrat values. This is why I'm leaning right. When people are given too many things, they just develop such big egos because they have to create this outer persona that tries to match what they've been given, but they didn't earn it in the first place. So they don't have like the internal journey or the internal character that was built from the experience that got them to that place. I think I'm going to clip that and put it at the beginning of the video. That's basically what I'm trying to say. The journey kind of like humbles people. You know, you get really frustrated when you're trying to get somewhere, when you're trying to excel in anything. If you've ever tried to excel in anything, like go back a few years on this channel, I excelled in overcoming social anxiety and talking to women and becoming really confident in my dating life. And, you know, struggling to get a lot of dates, but then eventually getting a lot of dates. It took years and like, you know, through my 20s, just like getting better and better at talking to people and becoming more confident, becoming that guy that people actually now wanted to go on dates with sometimes for the most part. And it's an extremely humbling experience that not a lot of guys want to go through. It's like when I was a dating coach, people often would give up after like a few approaches and they would have to like talk to us for an hour about how they got rejected. And it's like, bro, you don't even know. You don't even know how many people I've approached. I've had to like numb myself to a rejection. You have no idea. And you're sitting here crying to me about how like some girl said something somewhat rude to you because you approached her at a bar and she'd want to talk to you. Oh my gosh. And like the them texting us, like, like pictures of their text messages. What do I say? What do I say to her? Well, think about like what would you say if you were very confident in yourself? Like, just relax. Like, what do you actually want to communicate to this woman? No. But like, what would you say? I just want to like say what you would, like, this is what our clients would ask us. And what do you think is going to happen when you're hiring a dating coach to tell you what to say? And then eventually, what if you do get married to this woman? You're not going to have somebody telling you exactly what to say all the time. You have to become the person who is on the same level as that woman, who can handle that woman, who can keep his cool when shit gets like the type of provider male or whatever that all these people talk about on the internet, all these red pill people talk about on the internet, that you have to be. And you like the point is, you have to be somebody that somebody wants to be with. And you can do that by being somebody that you're proud of being. And you should do that. You should do it for yourself. And then you attract a partner as a byproduct that's like on your level, you know? Does that make sense? Yeah, hopefully I said something in this video that made freaking sense. Because I was feeling like, I was feeling a certain way, and I pulled up the camera and just started recording. Thanks for watching. Peace.